And welcome back to Janky AF and Year of the Aerostar, episode number 96. 96 Quite Bitter Beings. Anyone remember that song from the band CKY? Hold on to your Pennsylvania music trivia because we'll be coming back to that later. Anywho, we're so close to 100 episodes. Totally tangential there. Now, but this is episode 96. We are still in Canada, and I have on today this wonderful pale green shirt. And I'm very proud of myself because I always try to match the shirt to the color of the Aerostar. And usually it's like, you know, with there's a grace in there where as long as it's sort of generally, I was going to say genuinely, this one will be genuine, but if it's generally the right color, I'll let it slide. Today we have almost a spot-on match. I'm very proud of that. And what's special about that is it's a color I've never seen on the Aerostar before, so far as I can tell. So we might as well show it to you all now. Here we have a 1995 Ford Aerostar, listed for just $3,000 in St. George, Quebec City. Now, Quebec, I've always wanted to go to Quebec City. I love the province of Quebec generally, Quebec. And Quebec is one of my favorite albums from the band Ween, another Pennsylvania music group. So there you go, 2 Pennsylvania music references in one episode of Year of the Aerostar, and you have, I guess, a bit of a sense of my music taste as a teenager. So, as we can see, this wonderful sort of pale green color. Now this, you know, it looks like sort of not the most desirable Aerostar, with the caveat that all Aerostars are desirable. It looks sort of ho-hum. There's nothing really special about it, but I gotta say this I want to buy this Aerostar so bad. This one is so endearing to me. I like it for a lot of reasons, and you never know what one's just going to hit your eye and you know, bring that flash and get your wheels turning. But for some reason, there's just something about this one that I really, really like. First thing probably is the price. At only $3,000, that's Canadian dollars, and I've actually come prepared today. $2,273, so $2,200. You know, back in the day, you could get a running driving car for $1,000. I feel like that price is kind of like $2,000 now. It's kind of the bottom of the barrel. So for $2,300, you know, any running driving car is not bad. And when you consider it's an Aerostar, then we're really talking something special. So that's just the beginning. Secondly, we'll go through about this vehicle. Driven 204,000 kilometers. Now that sounds like a lot. It's over 200,000. Immediately you're sort of on borrowed time. But let's do the conversion. That's only 126,759 miles. So under 130,000 miles, actually, especially for a car that's this old, really not that bad. You know, how many cars are out there with 126,000 miles? A lot. Most people that don't lease cars or that don't, you know, buy cars every 2 or 3 years and trade in have over 100,000 miles on their car. Like, to me, 100,000 miles is the baseline when you should really start counting. And then if you make it to 200, I would consider that good. Anything less than 200, honestly, is to me a little disappointing. I know cars, you know, aren't made to kind of go that long anymore, and you have the, what is it called, forced obsolescence and all that, planned obsolescence. However, just in my brain, I feel like 100,000 is good. You should make it to 100,000, and 200,000 is like really good. It means the car had like a good life. My Honda Accord, I got 200,000 miles. Sadly, wish I still had that car. But this is only at 126, so, you know, plenty of time to go on this vehicle. Automatic transmission, exterior color, they're calling it blue. I think it's like a pale green, although maybe the camera's playing tricks on our eyes. Interior color, beige. Fuel type, gasoline. Also weird, because I would have expected this to have like, you know, either a gray or a blue interior. So the fact that it's like a tan interior, as we'll see, also very cool. Fuel type, gasoline. Engine size, -1 liter. Again, this is what happened when we went to our Mexican residency. There must be sort of something lost in translation. And it has only had 2 owners, or so they claim. We don't get a great example of it here because there's not much of a description. However, we got to remember that not only are we in Canada, but we are in Quebec. So that means French, and I get to butcher some French for you all. Although today I won't be able to do much. This just says 4x4 1995 V6 Parfait Condition, which obviously translates to perfect condition. So I like that they just said it's in perfect condition. I mean, perfect is like such a superlative to describe a vehicle. Like, I feel like vehicles are never perfect. But I like the confidence that it's inspired by saying it's perfect condition. There's nothing wrong with it. And insofar as janky, like, if everything's functioning, it really is in perfect condition. If it's just like aesthetics or mileage or whatever, if it's functioning tip top, then to me it's perfect, you know, and all the elements of jank on it that we will see really actually makes it better than perfect in some ways. So with that being said, and obviously I'm kind of bearing the lead here because this is a 4x4. So, you know, one of the things that will stand out in this vehicle, aside from my own sort of subjective taste for it, is that it is a four-wheel drive extended Aerostar. And that is sort of the next one I want to get. I've always wanted a four-wheel drive Aerostar. I've always wanted to get an extended Aerostar. So why not merge those two things and have it be a 4x4 extended? Now, most, I would say, from what I've seen, like probably 90%, if not more, of the 4x4s that I've seen are the extended version. I just think that's what people went for. You could get a standard length in an all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. Very rare. You don't see them that often. That's kind of a cool find too, honestly. But I think if I got a four-wheel drive one, I would kind of want to get it the extended one, sort of the whole enchilada, if you will. And let's get into this lovely enchilada. So obviously the color is very nice. We do have slight pinstriping here. It looks almost like gold, like a metallic gold over white, which just really cool color combinations on this vehicle that I've never really seen. I like that the pinstriping is very subtle. The last one we saw, episode 95, I love that graphics package too. This is just a little bit more subdued, a little bit more subtle. The other cool thing is it's not a two-tone. Now, I love the two-tone Aerostars. My Sport is a two-tone. However, in this color scheme, I just sort of like how it's just a simple pale green color with your gray bumpers. There's something just utilitarian about this vehicle that I really, really like. I can't explain it. I'm just very drawn to this one. I guess it could be sort of a blue, but I don't think this is Palomino blue. It almost looks more silver in this picture. And silver Aerostars, they did make those. Those are actually quite rare too. But I just think this has a little bit of a hint of green in it. Hence the shirt today. We have your standard hubcaps. I do like these hubcaps. Now, I was wondering the other day, or surmising, that maybe these hubcaps only came on the Sport models. That appears not to be true. Of course, they could have always added these hubcaps later, but I do like these sort of like slicer salad shooter-esque hubcaps. I think these just little bezels give you the idea of motion even when you're standing still. One of the better hubcaps out there, I would argue. And of course, electronic four-wheel drive. When you see that badge, you know it's something special because, again, these are getting harder and harder to find. And the overarching point, I just think it's so cool that the Aerostar came with four-wheel drive. It's such a, you know, in many ways, very, very ahead of its time. Everyone wants all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive now. Complete aside here, but a very nice Chevy Caprice going on in the background there in white. So that's a cool thing about it. Now, this to me is just like pure janky brilliance. We have the hubcap up front. We have just a steel wheel with no hubcap back here. We have just the right amount of rust and discoloration going on that it makes the price a little bit more negotiable. And it is pretty pokey, but it's not something that's really, you know, maybe it has extended down to the rockers a little bit. But I've seen much worse rocker rust. I'll say that. This is something you can kind of get away with just running. And if you did want to patch it, hopefully you're not cutting out too much metal to do those repairs. Obviously, if you wanted to, you could just go with the whole Bondo approach. I leave that up to you. But I like that it's monochromatic. I like that it has this very, very subtle pinstripe that you almost don't notice. I like that it has these big gray bumpers that are not, I wouldn't even paint in body color as much as I like that. I think I would leave them gray just as it is. And it's got one of my favorite aftermarket items. It's got your DIY purple window tint. I love the DIY purple window tint. Why, I will never know, or maybe I could find out. It seems like whenever they tint windows, you get this like package where you can do it yourself, or maybe it's just the cheapest one you can buy, and it always has this purple hue to it. It's like a calling card. It's like, yeah, I did this myself. If it's like regular tint, it's like someone did it. But if it's got this purple hue to it, it's like, yeah, I did it myself. You buy some sort of cheap cellophane and put it on there, and it probably starts to peel off eventually. Although this one actually looks quite nice. I love the DIY purple window tint. I like that it's only in the back and not on the sides. A little bit more practical. I don't need to, I'm not the FBI. I don't care if anyone's looking at my car. And I like the visibility of a non-tinted side window. It just feels a little bit safer. But then the windows in the back, especially being an extended version, everything just lines up aesthetically here, and I'm really, really smitten. Next, go inside. This greenish, bluish, silverish hue, I would expect to see like a silver interior. Usually the tan interiors are on like your reds and your dark greens, and your black. If you can find a black Aerostar, the black and tan is a wonderful combination. I would not expect to have a tan interior on this like sort of light silverish greenish color, but I like it. It somehow works to me, and I'm usually drawn more towards the gray interiors, but that's funny, and that's funny because I'm very drawn to this tan interior with the red piping. So another thing I would like to get in an Aerostar, both of my Aerostars don't really have, my brown one actually has like vinyl seats, which is so weird because they're like the contractor material, but they have the full headrest that you see here. They're not just the vinyl bucket seats that you see in a lot of contractor Aerostars. So that's just like a strange combination. But in the early, 86 being the first year, there was all sorts of weird things going on before they sort of standardized everything. So I absolutely love the tan interior with the two-tone seats with the red piping. I mean, maybe why I'm drawn to this so much is it kind of has like every Aerostar feature that I do not currently have in my Aerostars. Now this does have crank windows. I almost wish a little bit that this had power windows, because that would be just like the last feature I don't really have. However, I'm never going to be mad at crank windows. I love crank windows. Crank windows, always good, just in case you drive off of a pier. And here we have another great shot of that Caprice with some nice like sort of wire wheel hubcaps or wheels going on there. Caprice classic. I digress. Moving on. Okay, another just weird, you can see the purple hue to this tint. I don't know if they were transporting dogs or what was going on here, but they have this cage built in. But the funny thing is, like a normal bulkhead would just go right behind your front seats. Here they have, which it probably was dogs, they have the passenger seat that's, where it is, and then you have a bulkhead behind the first passenger seat in front of the second passenger seat. And it's even riding, it's not just like one that springs up. They like installed these tracks on the headliner, which actually looks to be in quite good condition, by the way. So this is like a serious, like heavy duty sort of bulkhead here. And it's just weird, and I don't know if I would keep it in there, but it's just something I've never seen before, and I think it looks cool. Maybe you would want to keep it in here. Maybe you would want to take this back seat out, have it be totally storage, and that way, if you do have to brake hard and anything does come flying up, it's not going to hit you, but you can still carry, well, at least 4 people here. If you switch these bench seats, which we saw in the last episode, you can probably carry 5 people in here and still fit a ton of stuff in the back. And it's 4-wheel drive, very capable. I keep reading again and again. I have to get one for myself, but I've heard that the 4-wheel drive system on this Aerostar is actually quite capable, like, in the snow and stuff. And there is a video out there with a Ford Escape all-wheel drive from like, whatever, 2012 or 2015, something pretty new, doing an uphill, like, hill charge in the snow against an Aerostar, and the Aerostar just like beats the pants off of it. You can go find that on YouTube. So, very anecdotal, obviously. Who knows the condition of the tires on each of those vehicles. And if it was even a 4-wheel drive Escape, because great comment the other day. A lot of those Escapes, they said they were 4-wheel drive, but from everything the mechanics have told the owners of that particular vehicle, it's actually just an all-wheel drive system. A lot of digressions today, but that's what happens when I get really excited about an Aerostar. My mind just starts shooting off in like a 1,000 directions. So unfortunately, that's all the pictures we have. We should go through them one more time. And I just, maybe it's because it's in Quebec. Like, I attach a lot of, like, most crazy psychotic car people. The story of the car is just as important as the car. Like, my Fiat X19, my 1982, was delivered new to Hawaii. Now, I love Hawaii. I'm obsessed with Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii. I think I'll go one day. But everything about that kitschy 1960s rainbow, beachy, jungly, that vibe, I'm so obsessed with. And this was delivered new to Hawaii, and I just got to figure, like, in the X-19's entire production run, like, how many were delivered to Hawaii? It's just like sort of a rare thing, and it's gold, which looks very nice when the sun hits it. So I was so drawn to that car. Now that car has been, a labor of love for sure, and it's been, I would have been definitely better off buying one for a little bit more money. That would have been in a lot better condition. But if you're one of these journey people, you like the journey just as much as like sort of the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And I am that person. I'm sort of a glutton for punishment. I like the satisfaction of knowing that I brought something that was not running into running condition. To me, that's like so much more satisfying than just buying something that's like perfect, because you're sort of, re-entering one of whatever model vehicle you're buying back into the population. It's almost like, I'm getting very pretentious here, but it is sort of a form of like resurrection, or of, what's the thing? Reincarnation. So I think that's cool. Anyways, I've always had kind of a thing for Quebec City too, in particular, or Quebec generally. Maybe it's just that album that I like. But being able to buy an Aerostar in Quebec City would be very, very cool. And I don't know how you import a vehicle from Canada. It seems like it'd probably be harder than it was 5 years ago, driving across the border. But just trying to make that adventure, because that's a pretty long drive, even to, upstate New York. We're pretty close in the grand scheme of things, but that'd still be quite a long drive. Getting through customs, the whole deal. But who knows, I doubt this is going to last very long. These things Aerostars tend to sell. That's the other funny thing. So many listings I've looked at have sold, which, I get. All cars, it's not something special about the Aerostar that people buy them. But, it is funny how long or how quickly some of them go. I think they are, desirable vehicle for a lot of people. A lot of people who wouldn't even necessarily think that they want an Aerostar end up just choosing it because they realize that it's like such a practical vehicle for whatever their needs may be, or their various sets of different needs that can do a lot of things. I'm in a period of, I've made this commitment to myself to be net negative on cars this year. It's sort of a year of trying to like reset a lot of things financially and otherwise. But boy, if I had a real shot at this, if anyone's in Quebec, by the way, if anyone's in northern Canada and can facilitate some sort of transaction, I would really, really be interested, because this for me just, it checks every single box for me, and I would love to have it. I don't have a 95, it's four-wheel drive, it's extended, I love the color, I love the window tint, I love everything about it. The mileage is perfect, 126, perfect amount of miles. Presumably it's got the 4-liter engine in it, as all four-wheel drive models came with, so that's something I don't have. And I love it. I love this Aerostar. Episode 96 is going to be a special one for me. So there you have it. I hope you all enjoyed that too. Feel free to drop a comment on what your favorite specification is. Sometimes one just hits you. It's very weird. It's like Jay Leno says, it's like sometimes the stance of a car just sits right. This one just sits right to me. And I'd really, really enjoy adding this to my fleet. Time will tell. We'll see. And, the one that got away is a story that's happened to me many, many times, and you do what you can. But I have to go back now and see if there's any in this color. I don't remember seeing this color. I'm stumbling over my words. I'm just so excited about this. But there you have it. A fantastic, beautiful, stunning, elegant, handsome, dashing.
The handsome, dashing Ford Aerostar.
1995 Ford Aerostar. Thank you so much for watching Year of the Aerostar here on Janky AF. We're marching towards 100 episodes, getting very, very close, and we'll have to do something special for that. If it's probably be a whole separate video just celebrating 100 episodes. We thank you so much for watching. We thank you for commenting. If you've made it all the way to the end and you're somehow not subscribed, please do that if you're feeling like it. Really helps us out here, and you know, you get the benefit of you know, being in this very unique group of Aerostar enthusiasts community. I'm rambling. Let's end it. Very much appreciate everybody. We'll have another one for you very soon. And until then, Janky do Thanky.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.